about you, but I love watching decluttering videos, but I always wonder, what are those products really like? I've decided to do a different kind of declutter video. Here are the foundations that I currently have. Some of them I will love and keep, and some of them I know are trash. If this is your first time here, my name is Sean, and as promised in the last video, today we are going to do a foundation that I am not going into with a lot of preconceived notions. This is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Wear. And I do have it in two shades. I purchased both shades at the same time because they were on sale for buy one, get one free. And I was having a really difficult time in the store determining from the testers which shade was going to match. And then I got them home and never entirely felt like either shade matched. So I never got to a point where I was able to determine whether or not I liked the formula. So that is what we are going to focus on today. I just want to know whether or not these are worth keeping. And I purchased these shortly after they were released, when it was sort of a big hype that they were fantastic. And it seemed like they were really good for all skin types. I do have normal to dry skin. I do still get oily sometimes in my T-zone. But it's really, it's so hit and miss for me with my body chemistry, I guess. It's so hit and miss for me which foundations are going to oxidize. Like, that's one of my biggest things, is finding shade matches. So right now I'm just putting on the Good Molecules silicone-free priming moisturizer. I got this in my Beautylish Lucky Bag. Good Molecules is a Beautylish brand of skincare, and I've really been liking this primer, so I'm gonna keep going with it. I do have also like it's like a pimple that came out right here, and I scratched it not realizing it was there, and now it's all swollen and gross looking. So sorry about that. We're just gonna leave it be and let it heal. In general, I also just seem to be breaking out. I'm sure that using a different foundation every day probably not helping me in the breakout department. I'm gonna start with the shade 400. Oh, this is really liquidy. I wasn't expecting that. Which is exactly the opposite of the L'Oreal Infallible Full Cover, which I used previously. Yeah, this shade's gonna be too light. It does have sort of a floral-y scent to it a little bit. It's almost like the scent you get with higher end foundations, like the fancy luxury foundations, like Dior and things like that, that have like the really floral scent to them, except toned down. Generally speaking, I don't think that fragrance is necessary in my makeup, but I'm also not somebody who gets upset about it by any means. So far, this is sitting really pretty on the skin. It doesn't seem to be like emphasizing my texture in any major way. I am going to use just a little bit more and see if I can, ooh, it like shoots out. Was that? All right, well, I guess I'm using a little bit more in shade 405 because I didn't realize that I was grabbing the wrong bottle, and I don't want to waste this. So we'll see how this shade looks, since 400 was definitely a bit light, but I just want to see if I can build it up a little bit here where I get really red. As far as application, I do feel like you can go either way with this one in terms of using a sponge or using a brush. So far so good. It doesn't seem to be fully setting down, so I do think I'm going to need to powder this one. I am still just finishing up this little tiny Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. I am going to actually put on my concealer before I powder, which is a novel idea. This is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Color Corrector in Lavender. Also, it is actually morning this time. I slept for like a million hours, which brought me back to a morning time wake up. To set it, I'm going to, for the very first time, use my new Wayne Goss powder brush. This brush is so incredibly soft and it feels really nice on that gentle skin under the eyes. And for the rest of my face, I just like to take a fluffy powder brush and just lightly go over my face. Those definitely made a very pretty combination. Because I used powder, I will be using a setting spray at the end to kind of let those melt together. Up here seems very blurred. Right in this area, I can definitely still see my pores. Usually I don't feel like my pores are very emphasized there. So I don't know if that's something going on with my skin or if that's this foundation. But I am going to go ahead and get the rest of my makeup on right now. It is 10:30, 10:31. So we'll call our initial check-in time for the foundation 10:30, and I'm gonna get my makeup done. So here's today's final look. My lipstick just happens to match my Gryffindor t-shirt perfectly, so that's happy. I touched my face a lot doing this makeup, and it didn't seem to disturb the foundation at all, so that's good. Other products went over top of it great, including my eyebrow products, which I don't know if this is a problem that other people have. I would imagine it is, but a lot of times my brow products will either mix with my foundation or remove my foundation. So I always try to wait if I'm going to do my brows after my foundation and do them later in my process. But even then, that sometimes isn't enough. The lipstick went over it great. Everything just went really well. Like everything worked together very well with this foundation. So I do understand why it had a lot of hype initially. I haven't really heard anyone talking about it super recently, but so far so good. It is now 11:24. So I've had it on for almost an hour. I'm gonna go about my day. I have just some editing and some errands and just like normal everyday stuff to do. I am still getting over being sick, so I'm also really tired, and right now all I really want to do is go lay down and take a nap, and I can't do that. So I will be back in a little bit to show you how this foundation is wearing. I will see you then. So it's been about 4 hours, but if you haven't already noticed, having some issues. Yeah, good time. This eye has been watering nonstop for like 45 minutes, and my eye is itchy, and I seem to be having some allergy issues. I've taken off my lashes. My wing is completely gone. So I'm actually going to go ahead and take my makeup off. I did want to mention a couple of things before I wash my face. In here, like around my lips, it has been creasing a lot, which is not normal for me. I just have stuff. But then I also had a little bit of creasing down here under my chin, and it's sort of settled into my lines. It's just this eye, so I don't think that it's an allergy to anything specific. I'm allergic to cats, and we have 2 of them, so it's possible that I like got a cat hair in my eye or something. But yep, I'm gonna go take my makeup off, and I am not going to go through the whole beginning part again tomorrow. So I will start just after I have my makeup on with the initial check-in, and I will see you then.